Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. I'm tired of shit.
Hello friends and my lovely viewers, welcome back to the channel of prettiness. Today, we will take a look at the new Panda couple in Bloodline. These champions are tanks, and I will talk about their active, passive and ultimate skills, as well as their clan trait. Let us start by checking out the male Panda's active skill first. Oh, by the way, please let me know in the comment section below what you think about their looks. I personally think they could have been presented to us in a cuter way. Like, their clothes don't really bring out their panda cuteness, which is sad in my opinion. Okay, let's get to the main point. The active skill is called Dominant Force, and he will basically smash the ground with a hammer which deals damage equal to 500% of our champion's strength to the enemies in the area. This attack also sends out a circular shockwave that spreads from the center. The enemies that are hit by the shockwave will take additional damage equal to 300% of our champion's strength, and they also become stunned for 1.5 seconds. Our male panda and the entire team of ours will take 30% less damage for the next 5 seconds. So he is basically acting like a DPS. The only tank-like thing in his skills of his is the very ending where he buffs himself and the teammates with 30% less damage effects. Apart from that, he is dealing damage and dealing damage. Oh, and of course, he also stuns them for 1.5 seconds. I am confused though, as to why he's being a damage dealer when he is primarily a tank. Anyways, let us see his passive skill next. Made of Steel. When our male panda's constitution becomes lower than 50%, he will gain a permanent shield which absorbs damage equal to 60% of their lost constitution. The effect has a 30-second cooldown. Each normal attack or skill damage dealt on a stunned enemy during a cooldown shortens it by 3 seconds. He is still not protecting his teammates. This passive only gives shield to our male panda, so when his constitution becomes lower than 50%, he gains the permanent shield, which absorbs damage equal to 60% of their lost constitution. I don't know what is meant by their lost constitution. Does it refer to the enemies, or teammates, or his own constitution? I really hate it when they write "there" in the description cause it just makes it so vague. The effect has a 30 seconds cooldown like mentioned, and if we launch normal attacks or skill damage on a stunned enemy, the cooldown will be shortened by 3 seconds. I'm not so sure about this. I just don't like the vague stuffs. Do let me know what you think about this passive skill of his. Time for his ultimate now. Tempering Storm. He will plant his hammer into the ground and enter something called a parry state for 7 seconds. When control effects are inflicted or the damage taken is higher than 4% of our male panda's max constitution, then he will gain control immunity for 1 second, and he will also counterattack nearby enemies once, dealing damage equal to 600% of our male champion's strength. Additionally, he stuns them for 1 second. For each counterattack, our male panda will provide a permanent shield for themselves and all allies that absorbs damage equal to 12% of our male panda's max constitution. Our champion can also counterattack once every 1 second. After the parry state ends, the male panda deals damage equal to 500% of their strength to nearby enemies again and stuns them for 2 seconds. And each counterattack during the parry state increases the damage and control effects by 8%. I seriously feel like our panda guy here is more of a damage dealer. It is true that he does grant a shield for his teammates in this skill, but he's also the one who launches counterattacks and deals damage, etc. It may be good though. I don't know what you guys think, but this skill kinda depends on how often he will deal counterattacks. He can deal a total of 7 counterattacks, as his ultimate lasts for 7 seconds. But his counterattack will only activate if he is struck by control effects or any kind of damage in general. His placement on the battlefield is obviously essential for how much damage he will receive. I think I'm having mixed feelings about this one. He also gets his damage and control effects increased by 8% for each counterattack he does during the parry state, and that can add up to quite a bit if he's lucky enough to deal the total amount of 7 counterattacks. This all being said, let us keep this in the back of our heads while we move on to the female champion. Her active skill is called Cloud Piercer. She will deal true damage equal to 15% of her max constitution to the current target and all enemy champions marked by the ultimates. This goes up to a maximum of 1500% of the female panda's strength. She will also gain a shield that lasts for 10 seconds and absorbs damage equal to 60% of all damage. Wow. To be honest, that shield sounds impressive. And she also deals true damage, which means the damage she deals will ignore any kind of damage reduction that the target has. This attack does have a limit dependent on our female panda's strength though, so I'm guessing it may be wise to keep her strength up, but it is yet too early to conclude on things like that. Anyways, I have a good feeling about this skill. Let's move on to the passive skill and hope it lives up to our expectations. Indomitable. Our female panda will take 30% of damage received for all ally champions and restores constitution equal to 40% of damage dealt by ally champions. Taking this damage will not kill our female panda. And also, each enemy champion that is marked by the ultimate increases our female panda's damage reduction by 10%. I think this means she will act as a human shield in a way, but she also restores her constitution, which means she's not being harmed even though she takes the damage for her teammates. Did that make any sense? It should theoretically work, as long as her teammates are dealing a lot of damage. That is what your constitution restoration is dependent on, you know. So make sure your teammates deal a good amount of damage. Our female panda will also get more damage reduction, depending on how many enemy champions are marked by the ultimate. Okay, there is only one way to find out how the passive and ultimate skill is connected. Let's see her ultimate skill now. In Deadly Gale, she will mark an enemy champion until the battle ends. The marked enemy takes 40% damage received, and our female panda will restore constitution equal to 30% of the enemy's received healing. This skill prioritizes unmarked enemy champions. When the marked enemy is killed or inflicted with a mark again, then our female panda will gain a shield that lasts for 10 seconds and absorbs damage equal to 25% of her max constitution. Mark cannot be dispelled, aka it cannot disappear. So, she leaves a mark on the enemy champion that lasts for the entire battle. The enemy will take more damage than usual, and our female panda restores constitution depending on how much healing that enemy receives. The skill prioritizes unmarked enemy champions, which I think means that it is more likely for the ultimate to strike the unmarked champions if we use it multiple times. If a marked enemy is killed or inflicted with a mark again, our female panda will gain a shield and absorb damage according to her own max constitution, which means her max constitution must match her, and we may try to increase it with traits. I must admit that I'm kind of favoritizing her over the male. All of her skills just sounds more reliable, and I personally think she's more interesting in a way. I don't know if she's a OP champion, but if I was to summon for this clan, I would aim for her over the male. I do kinda miss the tank-like behavior from both of the champions, cause they are acting quite DPS-like, or like support champions. I did not feel like I was talking about pure tanks. But anyways, before we conclude with anything, let us check out the clan's trait. It is called Energy Harness, and this is what it does at level 18. When the battle starts, our champion will gain a shield that lasts for 15 seconds. This shield absorbs damage equal to 617% of their strength. I think this is a nice way to waste the opponent's skills including their ultimates, cause it is quite common for enemies to throw all of their powerful skills in the very beginning of the battle. But with this trait, their early on surprise attacks will have very less effects. What do you think? Like, it would be dope if this shield protected our team as well. Too bad, it is a little bit of a selfish trait, only aiming to protect our panda tanky tank. Honestly though, it still sounds promising and very useful. Now, overall, what do you think about the new panda clan and their clan trait? Would you summon for them, or would you save your resources for some other clan? And also, do feel free to let us know your theories about the male's vague skill. We can together figure out what it really means, and it can alter things quite a bit. Perhaps he is a great champion. That all being said, this is all for today. Feel free to tap on the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed today's content. I hope you found this video useful. Anyways, have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, stay foxy, Adios. Bye.